to another amazing edition of Worthy by Design. Brought to you by Advent Cable Network Nigeria, ACNNTV, and I am Iberichims. On this show, we focus on the journey from girlhood to womanhood and everything in between. Today, our topic for discussion is intentional motherhood. Now, motherhood is an amazing and rewarding journey that comes with a lot of joy, laughter, and fun moments, but laced with some hard days. Only intentional and purposeful actions can take you through. On this adventure, you keep learning and getting better at giving your children an amazing and memorable childhood, while creating for yourself the opportunity to become your best version. In our discussion today, we'll answer the following questions. Is it still possible to raise morally, socially, and spiritually balanced kids in this present time? Can mothers still find fulfillment in this role? And where are mothers really getting it wrong? So to recreate your motherhood experience is Mrs. Eki Agorom. She is a child rights advocate, a legal practitioner, and she's also an on-air presenter. She presents the show Generation Next, an educational radio show for kids, right? Thank you so much for joining us. We're so happy to have you.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
We will go right into the discussion. Legal practitioner, on-air personality, child rights advocate. How do all these things come together for you?
Yeah, it's actually a passion.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a passion for the foundation of children. I love children. I love peace. I love justice. I love love. So
peace, justice, love, family, all come together.
Yeah, all comes together. And I'm an on-air presenter, and I'm still presenting an educational radio program for children. So it is still my love for children. And my love for justice actually made me read law. That was my first baby. And I've been a lawyer for 13 years, plus the preceding year, that should be 14 years. I was called to the Nigerian bar in 2007. And I went ahead to read education and specialized in early years because of the love I have for children, because I know that the foundation
is very important.
Is very important. And I know that our society actually is suffering from lack of addressing the root cause of things, especially when it has to do with families. And
so the root cause is the family?
The root cause is the family. And if it is not addressed, the solutions we're proffering here and there, it's all babash.
So can I ask, have you seen results in these years of doing all of this?
Yeah.
Okay, let's be specific. Child rights advocacy, right? Have you seen results in doing this?
Yes, by paying attention to the early ones. You know, there's a lot of fulfillment in it, because you know that, yes, I have instilled a lot of values in these ones, and you see them growing up. And when I mean value, let me focus on education. When you focus on teaching a child how to write, you know, the children, they come into the word empty. We all come into the word empty. It's like a tabula rasa. Yeah, so they come into the word empty. You teach them how to write. You teach them how to scribble. They start to scribble. They start to write. You telling them the commands, and they start to make sentences. They start to write stories. It's very fulfilling. So that is how it is.
So you've seen all of this happen?
Yes, I have.
Right. So we talk of you as an intentional mother. You started right from your own home. How did you get all of this together? Is it because you studied education, or where did you pick this up?
Okay, that's actually because I wanted to become an intentional mother. I went ahead to study education after I had my son in 2011. I started with a course called childcare management.
Okay.
Because I wanted to understand the journey I just entered. You know, when they do misbehave or when they throw tantrums.
You need to understand
I need to understand why. I need to understand how to handle it, not just why. So that was the first education course I read, childcare management, before I went on to early childhood education.
Okay, before I let you go further, what does this whole intentional motherhood thing involve?
Okay. To be an intentional mother is to also be planning your old age intentionally. Why did I say that? When you're intentional about your children, God bless you. Because they are in 3 stages. At the young stage, they tell you that you can tell them, oh, do this, they do this, do that, they do that. They begin to grow. Yeah, don't do this, they don't do it. Then they begin to grow. At the time they grow into their teenage years, you begin to lose that grip that you have over them.
They start questioning.
They start questioning everything you say. But you know what? If you've instilled the right values in their foundation, if you've instilled the right behaviors in their foundation, I bet you, at that time, even when you don't have a grip of them anymore, especially when they go to boarding schools or when they're out there playing with their friends, or even when they become, you know, adults,
they still remember
those things. I still remember some things that when I want to do something, I say, no, my mother won't like this. And I'm a full-blown adult. It's because those values were instilled in me. Because at that time, when you could tell them, do this, don't do this, you have all the strength. When they're beginning to grow, you begin to lose energy to do something. You can't chase after them. You can't chase after them anymore. You don't even have the energy to chase after them. Then when they become adults, they are married, you send them off to the world completely. I mean, they will be telling you what to do.
Sure.
And you get to a time, you become old. They will be the ones to take care of you. So if you were not an intentional mother, when they were growing up, if you didn't show them love, if you didn't show them care, if you didn't teach them the right values of life.
At that point, you lose them.
At that point, you lose them and they forget about you. I've seen people who have said, is it now my mother wants to come for a mugo? And I go like, really? Not once, not twice, not thrice.
Because she missed what she ought to have done when they were younger.
Yes, and somebody has actually told me, oh, my mother has locked me out severally. Was she supposed to do that? Or was she supposed to correct me? And my auntie was there to correct me. So I would prefer my mother to come for my omugo, my auntie to come for my omugo than my mother. You know, so these are the things we have to be intentional about. You have to really train your children the right way.
So there has to be a deliberateness.
Yes.
As a mother. But these things are not taught in school, right?
They are not.
You know, it's like, I won't call it accidental motherhood. You know, you just wake up one day and, oh, will you marry me? Yes. We do a beautiful wedding and before you know it, I'm pregnant. And, you know, you've given birth. You start breastfeeding. Your mom comes, helps you, you know, she does this, does that, and then she's gone. And you're down to... What do I even do about this? This baby is crying. What do I do? And the baby grows. This baby is running too much, you know. There's this, you know, everything is, you're picking it up along the way. How do you, the people who are complaining about their mothers, how were they supposed to have learned how to raise them?
Okay.
You get my question?
Yes, I do. You know the popular saying when people will say, oh, nobody told me this, or nobody told me it was going to be like this. Yes.
Nobody tells anybody anything.
Nobody tells anybody anything.
You just pick it up from, okay, this is how my mom used to do it. This is how my dad used to do it.
That's as if you saw it well. Some mommies didn't even know how to bathe their children. I know of a woman who could not bathe her grandchildren. Why? Because her mother-in-law was so supportive that before she wakes up every morning, the mother-in-law comes, she has cooked, she has bathed the child, you know, so she didn't know how to do all those things.
So how do we solve this problem?
Can't teach her children. So right now, what you need to do, the word intentional means you have to be deliberate, you have to be willing.
And
you have to put yourself, you have to put that first foot forward to say, yes, I want to do this, I want to know how to do this. It's not everything that will be taught in school. It's not everything that is in maths and English.
So where do they learn it?
Now, you can actually go to Google to actually read about some things that you need to do as a mother. These informations are there. But I would not advise you to rely solely on what Google says because you are being intentional. They are paid courses. They are courses that will teach you how to raise your toddlers. Remember, you're not just anything. you're a phenomenal woman. That's what you want to become. So you can't just go and read all the millions of information online and come to apply it. No, you can't do that.
So you need
be
to weigh which
specific
to take and which to leave.
and which to leave, yes.
So you actually talked about online programs, right? So after going to school for, say, 4 years, 5 years, and I'll go register for a program, how to parent my children. Does it even seem realistic? I am tired of reading, for God's sake.
No, you can't get tired of reading. If you're tired of reading, it means you're tired of learning, and you only stop learning when you die, except you want to die before you really die.
So if I like that, except you want to die before you really die.
Yes.
So, but this is very serious, right? Are there uniform rules? I decide to go online, okay, pick up a parenting course. Are there uniform rules for parenting children?
There are no uniform rules for parenting children because we are all different in our own ways. Every child is unique in their own ways, but there are some rules that you must follow.
Okay, just cuts across.
Yes, that cuts across parenting. Generally accepted rules.
Okay.
Not like they're uniform, they're generally accepted rules that you must follow, that you must do. First and foremost, to become an intentional mother, you need to accept the new role. You need to accept that new role that's, you know, that has just been, that you have just been crowned with.
This is something you've never done.
It's something you've never done. It's a transition. You're transiting into another phase of life. So you need to accept it. At the time you accept that, yes, I'm not a mother, I'm not going to have time. Somebody can't just call me up to say, oh, I'll be with you in 20 minutes. You can do that even when you're pregnant. You run, you go into the bathroom, you have a bath, and you dress up and wait for your friend to pick you up. At the time you have your first child, that person will come and your child wants to suck. Please, are you going to give your child stone to eat because you want to go out with your friend? No. You are going to sit down and the nurses will tell you, breastfeed for 20 minutes on this side and breastfeed on 20 minutes on this side, the child will be full. That is what they said to you. So you have to accept that you're a mother.
That's
when a friend calls, yes, that's the first thing. When a friend calls you, no, sorry, you know I have to breastfeed before I leave my baby, or I have to come with my baby. You have to put the motherhood thing in first at everything that you're doing, so that people know that it can't just barge into you. Because the truth is that they say when you label your calabash dustbin, people will put dirt in it. Yes.
Right.
So if you tell people that, yes, my family comes first, my children comes first, then every other thing will follow. They will also follow you like that. There are some other things that I would also like to say. There are things that a good mother should have in mind. Good nutrition. You should have that, yes, my children need to have good nutrition. So when planning your finances, and as a good mother, you also have to plan your finances, your family budget, and all of that. You should know that, yes, I need to have good food, a balanced diet for my children, because it is only a child who has had a balanced diet that will comprehend in school. It is only a child that you have given enough breast milk that will not wake up at night to disturb you.
Okay, let me cut you there.
Okay.
Before we go on. Now, what is the goal of motherhood?
The goal of motherhood is the reward you will get when you set your goals as a mother, as an intentional mother, is the reward you will get when you're old. You put in all the work now, you have all the sleepless night now, for your children to become acceptable to the society. First and foremost, acceptable at home. Then they give what you put into them to the society, and that is what you get back. If you train your child to become naughty, they give naughtiness to the society, and that naughtiness might come back to you.
So motherhood it's like a version of mentorship and discipleship.
Of course, you have to mentor your children. You're the biggest role model. You should be a positive role model to your child, to your children generally. Because if you are a good role model to them, they become good role models to the society. If they are thieves tomorrow,
it's because you made them that way.
It's because you made them that way. There are some children who do things out of their own volition. You don't know where they get it from. But the truth is, if there were no gaps, if there were no lapses,
those things won't creep in.
Those things won't creep in. So that is where, you know, the blame will still come on you. Like they say, the good child is for the father. The bad one is for the mother. It's the mother who trains the good child for the father.
Right.
So have that at the back of your mind, that whatever praises that the father is going to get, you are instrumental to it.
Very good. So we're going to go on a very short break. Still to come, leveraging on technology for child raising. You don't want to miss that. Please do stay with us. Welcome back to the show. We have been speaking with the phenomenal Mrs. Eki Agorum. Remember, you can follow the discussion on our various social media handles on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram at Worthy by Design 20. We had spoken about the rules of motherhood. Can you give us a little bit about that?
Okay, now, those rules.
Let us pick.
Okay, no problem. We should actually train our children not just to stay hooked to the screen, because that is one thing parents do now.
TV screen, phone screen.
Phone screen, when they're babies. Oh, I want to go and cook in the kitchen. They'll dump the child in front. So they won't disturb me. So they won't disturb me. Please, there are other ways. There are board games. There are outdoor plays.
But the child is 6 months, 1 year. So how do I get the child doing something else?
Can you also have a mean time with that child and just put that child on the baby bonjela or on the back? It's still okay to back your child. There are baby bonge that can also back your children. And have a me time. That body contact with the child is something they want so much.
Intimacy.
Intimacy, yes. That's okay. So I'm not saying they should not watch the screen, but reduce the screen time because it affects their attention. Yes, it affects their attention a lot. You see, most children of this age, most children of this age, they call them digital natives. We are the digital migrants, you know. They have very low attention span. 90% of them is that high. True. So let's have, you know, a balance. Do a health check for yourself and for your children. That's very important as well.
How often?
It could be once in 6 months. It could be once in 3 months. It depends on how much you need it.
Okay.
Yes. Then you could also live in the moment. Enjoy every moment. It is hard. It is hard, I must say, but enjoy the moments you spend with your children. In no time, they won't be there anymore. You'll be looking forward to visiting days. True. So why don't you enjoy it now? That is why I talked about acceptance at the initially. The fact that you are a mother. Accept the fact that you're a mother, and you begin to live. Yes, then you begin to live in the moment as well. Then again, show affection, keep regrets away, be vigilant, put safety and health measures in place in your home.
Let's talk about vigilance. You know, we have seen videos in recent times. Oh, I left my child with the nanny at home. I have a CCTV camera and I saw a lot of things. For those who do not have CCTV cameras, how do they pick, you know, those things that happen in the home when they are away?
That is actually a tough one to do, because the CCTV camera is there to capture the moments for you, but when it's not there, you need to get somebody who is trusted to be with your children. Okay. If you cannot, please, can you just put that job aside for now? Have an agreement with your partner. Whatever we get now, let us manage it. Let me be there as the mother, or if it's the father who wants to take up that responsibility to take care of these children, so we don't expose them to the menace of the society.
But how about, you know, you had talked about mothers, you know, having that, enjoying their children. Can that time of enjoyment help her know what goes on while she's away?
Of course, when the child can talk and express themselves. If you're close to your children, they tell you anything. No matter how much I scold my children, they will tell me everything that happened from morning till night. The days I'm not with them. So if you're close to your children and know how to cajole them to tell you stuff, they will tell you everything that happens. But then you need to also tell them, like I tell you, they come in a clean slate. You need to tell them, What happened today? You need to spike up that discussion with them all the time.
Okay.
Oh, they taught me maths in school. Is it just maths? Did you talk to your friends? What happened in the playground? What did you eat? Did you eat from somebody? Oh, yes, mommy, I tested my friend's food. Say, no, you don't do that. You don't share people's food with them. It is wrong. You are not old enough.
Right. We have spoken about those younger ones. Now the teenagers. You know, those are an amazing bunch.
Yes.
How can mothers follow through with raising these ones?
I like talking about that aspect because most people have actually failed in getting close to their children when they were small. This thing is like a continuous education. You cannot love your child when they were small and let them go as teenagers. But the truth of the matter is, if you love them when they were small, if you were close to them as children, you will grow into it. It will continue. But at this point,
so you retain that trust.
You retain that trust because you are supposed to be your children's most trusted adults. So that they can come and tell you everything. So you are also supposed to be a good role model to teach them everything they need to know. And if you do not know, seek the help of an expert so you know how to strike up those conversations with your children.
That made me laugh. Experts.
Yes.
So a mother just walks up to an expert, okay, my 14-year-old, my 15-year-old is giving me some problems, you know, I need a solution to it. What do you pay? It's money now.
Yes, if you have to pay, you pay. Okay. But if you cannot pay, you can actually go online and get some information that you can make do with for the meantime. But I always encourage that you get an expert. There are parenting coaches everywhere. Make sure you get a good one who has good track records that will help you. Because it is never too late to start loving your child.
Okay.
If you have missed it when they were small, you can start now. All you need to do is start to get close to them. If they feel uncomfortable with your intimacy, turn it down a bit. Just do things.
It's gradual.
It's gradual. Just do things that make them comfortable. Yes, gist with them. Oh, let's go out. Help me hold my bag.
And they need to be your friends.
Yes, they need to be your friends, especially when they cross the age of 13. They become your friends. Don't treat them like children. You will lose them.
And
at that time, yes, they won't like it. They'll revolt because they're trying to find their personality. They begin to have peer group influence. It is for real. And they begin to pick things from their friends. Oh, my friend does this.
And we see a lot of things online too.
Exactly. Digital natives. They know these things.
They have seen it.
Yeah, they know it more than you. So you need to be a step ahead of time.
You must be deliberate.
You must be deliberate.
That's the word, intentional.
Because the teenagers, they are struggling to find their personality. At the time they find their personality, you were not there. That means they picked everything they know from the world, and you're going to just live in regrets. Most of the time. It's just a few that will pick the good things. The world is a wicked place, you know. So you need to be in them. Make them comfortable. Ask them questions. In fact, if you need to beg them to tell you things, beg them to tell you things. Strike up conversations with them. Do you know I and your daddy did this? Do you know when I was your age, I could do this? Do you know when I was your age, I did something wrong, and my mother corrected me, and I followed that correction, and see what I became in life today? Do you know when daddy was your age? So it becomes like a Rema moment for them. Oh, so mommy made this mistake.
And they can connect.
And they begin to connect with you, and they begin to tell you the things that they are going through.
Yes, still on that issue, let us talk about technology, internet. How can mothers leverage on this to, you know, find this connection with their little ones, with their teenagers and the little ones?
Technology is good, and technology is bad at the same time.
I know. So yes. how can it be good for the mother in raising her child? Right
now, what you need to do, we can't run away from technology anymore.
Right.
We all saw what happened. The pandemic is still, the curve is not still flat for the pandemic, and you know, so we are all forced to become digital natives, whether we like it or not. We've been migrating. Now it's time for us to settle down in our new village that we found ourselves. So first and foremost, teach your children internet safety.
Okay.
It's a topic of its own, internet safety. Teach them on how to open, the teenagers, how safe to open their profiles, how to use, when to use their real names for their emails, when to use AKA, as in also known as, or aliases in their social media profiles, so that people don't begin to discuss with them like they know them already. Tell them, do not put your pictures, naked pictures out there when people ask you for such things, especially the teenagers. For the young ones, you know, these days, there's something they call remarketing. So when you have, you know, maybe talked on the phone or use the tab to do something, and people, there's a chip that they put in different websites. It starts to follow you in every page. So when your children are using your tab, some things could pop up. Teach them to click on the X button by the top right side or the top left side. So long as it's not the sites that they originally wanted to go to, teach them that. But for the little ones, the best thing you can do, even for the teenagers, block the sites you do not want them to access.
Right. We are drawing to a close.
Okay.
Now, where do you think mothers are getting wrong?
Sentiments are killing most mothers today.
By sentiments, you mean?
This is my child. The child has gone to steal. Please don't report it to the authorities. This is my child. The child was involved in a rape case. Oh, I don't want them to spoil my family name. Can you please forgive my child? Please, we're all humans. On the last day, we're going to stand there and give accounts as a custodian for our children and give accounts for ourselves. So will our children do. That is why it is good. Teach them the right values so they don't fall prey to the menace, or they are not corporate to the menace in our society today. But you know what? You should let your children face the consequences of their actions right from when they were small. So that when they grow old,
They know that every action has a consequence.
Don't say because it's my child. We can all be sentimental as mothers. But then, at times, you need to turn that right eye.
They should face it.
Face the consequences so that next time, you know what to do wrong and what to do right.
So what you're saying is that whatever mothers do or fail to do contributes to the societal problems we're seeing today.
Yes, the family is the smallest unit, but it is the most important. Whatever goes on in the family is what we now all gather together and push into the society. That's what becomes the society.
So that is why mothers need to be intentional about raising their little ones.
Very intentional.
So if we're going to solve the problems of Nigeria and solve the problems of the world, it starts from the actions of that intentional mother.
Yes, intentional parenting generally, not just the mother
parenting,
and the father.
Yes, and the father.
Yes.
We're rounding up. Now, let's crown this whole discussion by talking about the well-being. We've been talking about the well-being of the children, raising them well. How about the well-being of the mother? You know, she's here, she's there. Let's go and shop. School, this, that. You know, she's everywhere. What can she do to just, you know, get herself feeling fulfilled? You know, this motherhood thing can be very draining.
Yes, it is. It is draining. Not can be very draining.
So how can she find her own fulfillment as a person?
You know, there is a book called Fill Your Cup. It talks about first love. It was written by, I can't remember, but Fill Your Cup, that's the name of the book. It talks about self-love. You need to show yourself love before you can show another person love. If you do not love yourself, what are you? You can't give out what you don't have. As a mother, we tend to sacrifice a lot and forget ourselves. But you know what? You should actually have time for yourself in the midst of all these busy schedule of a mother.
Take some time aside.
Your emotional health is good, is very key.
Because if you're not balanced, you cannot raise balanced kids.
Yes, if you're not balanced, you can't raise balanced kids. Your social life as a mother should also be balanced. As a woman who is growing up, who is raising kids, you should actually belong to a spiritual organization. You should actually belong to a social organization. It might be a charity organization. It might be like, you know, a friends club or something. When you hang out, talk about same things. Please, you have to proofread or check any organization you want to belong to, so that you are in the right place to add value to yourself. Your religious engagements, your emotional and your social engagements.
Make sure it's adding value.
Self-care, yes. Everything you're doing, make sure it's adding value. Make out time for yourself.
Please say these last words to the mothers, intending mothers, young ladies watching out there.
please, as a woman, you need to make out time for yourself, socially, your health, emotionally, spiritually. It is very important to become an intentional mother, because only a balanced woman can raise balanced children. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, you have heard it all from our guests. Dear intentional mother, you are such a beautiful gift to your family and an ambassador of heaven. So be purposeful about raising your little ones while paying as much attention to yourself. I can't say that enough. Be the best version of yourself and watch your children rise to the brightness of your light. We have been speaking with the phenomenal, amazing, sensational, I'm just trying to look for all the words, Mrs. Eki Agorom, a legal practitioner and a child rights advocate. Thank you so much for making our time.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. I wish we had more time to talk. There's so much to be talked about. This is where we call it a day on today's episode of Worthy by Design. I hope you enjoyed it. Tune in again next week, same time, same station, for another interesting edition of the show. Remember, every woman is worthy by design. I am Iberi Chims. Bye now.